Before we get started with today's interview, just a quick reminder, click the thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss any of the great interviews that we have coming up. Now, on to today's interview. Welcome back, everybody. Today, my special guest is composer Scott Price. His piece is White Sky, Blue Clouds. You can find it at Tom Giroux Music. Thank you so much for being here today, Scott.
Thank you, Sam.
So this piece has these really lovely impressionistic sounds, and it is just such a wonderful depiction of floating and flying and fluffy clouds. How did you go about putting together this piece?
Oh, well, thank you. That's very kind. I'm always thinking about when I'm improvising and beginning to write a piece, how is this going to serve the students later on? And I hope that this one will start getting them into the finger touches and the pedaling and the thinking about texture that they'll need as they approach that literature. But I think really at its heart, this piece is all about the repositioning of the left hand. It's a little bit more difficult than Deep Green Sea or Purple Waterfalls. And so the intervals can be blocked in the left hand, and there's always a rest so that the student has time to reposition the hand and find the new note group.
I love your attention to detail and thinking about how a student is going to approach this, and what a great tip to try blocking the left hand in this. Talk to us a little bit about how we can shape those longer lines that we see in the melody in this piece.
Oh, sure. This is a slower piece, and so that can be a real challenge for students because, the piano, it just decays. But the way I teach my students to do a lot of this is to be very aware of a sense of contact with the key, and that dynamics aren't just loud or soft. They are stronger or more gentle finger touches. And so we plan out how maybe the first note needs to be more gentle, the next few notes stronger, and then more gentle and more gentle. So they have a real plan of what to do with their body to make that phrasing happen. And then just like all of us, sometimes it's great, sometimes it's a little less great, and we just practice and we adjust. And sometimes the piano is different.
I love the direct instruction and specificity of how to touch those keys. What a great way to think about that. Very, very, very helpful. So this piece has some very large dynamic shifts in it. Besides that, what other things should students be listening for as they perform this work?
Oh, I think certainly the pedal. And that sometimes when you're blocking and finger pedaling on the keyboard, that frees up your foot to do more sophisticated pedaling things like quarter and half pedals, if it's appropriate and if the teacher feels it's appropriate. And then also breathing. Music notation is wonderful, but it's limited in a lot of ways. And so if a student feels the need to breathe between a phrase, they're probably right. Because the music as it unfolds reflects often, in my mind, the natural rhythms of the body and the natural rhythms of just living. And so they should feel free to experiment and try those things. They shouldn't be locked into a bar line all the time.
I love the invitation to go past playing metronomically and to begin to play eurythmically. That is just such a cool thing about this piece. Is there anything else you want us to know about White Sky, Blue Clouds?
Take your time and enjoy the unfolding of the harmonies and the phrases. And then, again, the title is just one of those silly things that came afterward. Instead of Blue Sky, White Clouds, it might make somebody just prick up and think, wow, that's wrong, that's weird, and take a different look at this piece, maybe.
Oh, that's really fun, but it's still such an evocative title and such a beautiful piece. I can't wait to use it with my students. My guest today has been Scott Price. His piece, White Sky, Blue Clouds, is available at tomgirouxmusic.com. If you found this useful, please give me one of these and consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you, everybody.